Hey, everybody.
All right.
Judy, Barbara,
Candace is,
Candace Cahill. Hello, Candace.
that's gonna be Dan. Hey, Judy.
Hi. Hey.
Can you guys hear us?
Great.
There we
We
go.
had to sign in as Tony.
Yes. Can
We,
you? Wait.
yeah.
I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
Well, I'm glad. You know, we only had 5 more minutes before we stopped waiting for the school bus.
right.
Yeah, we had a little problem. We logged in under the wrong username. It's not under Bobby Joe Blair. It's under Tony Barletta. So,
So,
and he was the host. So we just logged in under him and started it, and that's how we got here.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Do
I'm
we have
assuming
a full
everybody else is
house
gonna get on pretty soon.
then? Let's
Sorry
see
about
who's
Judy,
on.
Judy, you've heard about Pine Island, right?
Oh, I did. I
Yeah.
saw that. That's
They can't
a sin.
They can't even get there.
Hit it. No, just it hit it directly, right? So
Right.
that causeway, that 6-mile causeway from the island to Fort Myers, it's just 2 lanes. I mean, you know, no, I've been looking at the Facebook pages for that as a sin.
And Sanibel and Captiva, the same, causeways down. They're all just stuck there.
Stuck. They're stuck there, right?
Yes.
Such beautiful places, really beautiful places.
I know.
It's just amazing. And I don't know, I didn't hear, I hope everybody's okay, but those islands are just flat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So oh, good, Bob's here. Excellent.
Bob's here. Yeah, Bob.
Yay.
Bob, Julie, hello.
Hi there. So how many do we have? What
We have
vendors?
7 committee members, 8
Well,
committee members.
And Julie's here. So we have 6 out of 8.
Oh, we
DeWitt
have
Brown-
8.
Yeah, DeWitt Brown resigned.
he did.
Really?
He did. I just found out the other day myself.
You mean he has a life? Wow.
Wow, we have our distinguished selectman with us today. or
Hi,
one of them.
Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Maybe he's the undistinguished selectman.
I'm sorry to hear the Do It left. Huh.
Hi,
I'm
Judy.
still, I'm still happy to take notes, but I've developed some arthritis in my hand. So I have a little recording device that I'm going to be using just to take notes.
Oh,
That's very kind of you, Julie. Thank you very
you.
much.
I'm using it.
Yay.
I'm using an alias today. I'm calling myself Candace Cahill.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay.
that's a nice name.
That just means Dan doesn't really know technology yet, and his wife has to help him set up his Zoom calls. Sorry, Dan.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, I wondered who that was. So, okay.
So do we have a quorum?
We do.
we not only have a quorum, we are unanimous attendance.
Wow.
Whoa.
Great.
We have,
let's
is that
see.
Barbara and Sheehan?
Yep,
It is.
in the town hall, no less.
You guys can come up if you want.
Yeah,
The window's open.
plenty of room.
I don't know, man. You
I
change
think you
the
listen, I
orientation
really
of the table.
appreciate
We
still
can't do
doing
it.
it in Zoom. That's hugely helpful.
All right, so let's be official here. So it is 6:46, and present from the Finance Committee are Bob Vanderslice, Dana Sheehan, Peter Barba, Judy Zahora, Barbara Beatty, Julie Tarmy. I saw Deborah Warren and Dan McMacken. Josh Antrim from the Selectmen is here. Allison, the town accountant, is here. Michelle is here, and a mysterious number is here as well, and the meeting is in order.
What do we do? Well, just that this is a practical question. What do we do if the power turns off? I mean, I'm good, but what do we do about the,
We'll have to postpone.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, we'll
right,
just,
let's talk fast.
we'll reschedule and reconvene. My intent for this was just to give everybody an update, or more specifically, to have Tony give everybody an update. But Tony is not with us.
You see the
I'm
mysterious
with
number?
us. I'm with us. Yeah,
He's
I'm
on
here.
the
Can you hear
phone.
me?
Oh, you're the mysterious number without a name. Awesome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
So, Tony, I sent over like a list of suggested topics, and maybe the thing to do is just kind of walk through that for the committee. And if you don't have it,
Yeah,
in
if you
front of
could-
I can jog you.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I should.
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, number one was sewer. I remember that. Beyond that, I have to go consult my notes.
Okay, so we are officially on to the new, or the old rehab sewer main. The above ground bypass is being deconstructed. So we're officially switched over. The remaining steps of the project are just rehab, on the Linway and the surrounding landscape areas. We also have a couple other change orders we added to their contract. One of them was creating a bypass on Ward Road, right by the Ward Road pump station, so that we can, when we do the next big project, which is the rehab of the pump station itself, we can easily bypass around it. So they're gonna, under this contract, they're gonna basically install that for us. And they also have to put in a new air release manhole at Little Nahant Road and Nahant Road. So that project is pretty much complete. They do have to come back in the spring and do a final repave on the Linway.
Are they gonna repave Little Nahant Road as well?
We are repaving Little Nahant Road. That's under a different contract. We just put out paving a month ago. DNR won the contract. We just signed the contract yesterday. We're getting a schedule, and basically Nahant Road from like where right where the bank is, you'll see a cut line from when they did the Causeway project. So we're gonna pave from there to the Little Nahant Road intersection, up Little Nahant Road and Howe Road. And then there's a number of other streets on that contract too.
Perfect, thank you.
And
that
one,
Tony, question. Sorry, go ahead, Bob.
No, we're on budget for this?
That was
Yes.
my question.
Yep. Yes.
And how much has been spent so far?
I don't have that number. Allison, do you have that number?
Yeah, we've spent 3.7 million so far.
And what was the budget?
The contract
Well-
was,
Yep.
5 million.
What's it?
go ahead, Allison. I think the contract was what, 9?
Oh, it is that.
So, wait a minute.
Yeah, wait a minute.
I thought it was 9 million, but we spent 3.7. Is there, so there's more work to go and more billing will come in?
No,
on
it's
top
just
of
because
7?
it's just the payments are behind
Got it.
because they invoice us every month, which is behind the work that they actually complete. So
Okay, so just slightly different question then. So how much have we committed?
the contract, what we awarded the contract for, I want to say it was around 9 million.
Okay.
Allison, do you know the exact number?
It was 9 million, but I'm gonna pull up the contract right now to
Right.
get an
And-
exact number.
I mean, that's, I guess the basic question is, we don't anticipate any over against this portion of the work.
Correct.
Okay, that's the fundamental question. And then at the last town meeting, we approved what, like 12, so that leaves us with an additional 3 million-ish
18.
for other projects, other sewer-related projects.
We authorized 18 million at town meeting.
Ah, okay, even better.
Tony, how much is the Ward Road, the Wharf Road bypass going to add to the construction costs?
I think we're waiting for that. We haven't signed that change order yet. So basically, it's going to live within that contract price though, because the
9 million.
it ended up it ended up being a little bit. We saved a little money, but then we ended up we saved a little bit of money in some areas because we went to night work. So, in detail costs, police detail costs, we saved some money. But then because we went to night work, it added some costs on labor. So, but the way it works out is we're going to be within that number that we signed the original contract for.
So we're not seeing a lot of inflation in this contract, and it's on budget. Thank you very much. And so what happens after this, the Ward Road Pump Station? Does that roll out the next project?
Yes. So October 15th is the deadline to submit our paperwork for the loan through the SRF program. And there's a couple things going on there. If you recall, we're under an administrative consent order when we had that last sewer break. And part of that administrative consent order talks about II work. You guys remember all that? What II is?
Yes.
Inflow and infiltrate.
Yes, A+. So
Yeah, I didn't know there would be a quiz.
So even though the pump station is our next big priority, part of getting through this next phase of being authorized to actually, like this next part of the process with the loan, we have to work with DEP to come up with an II plan so that they will approve the funding for not only the II, but also the Ward Road Pump Station and the other items that were on that capital list. But remember, we don't borrow the money until we actually do the work.
Mhm.
So it's just kind of like a little technical part of the process. We are spending a lot of time working on this proposal to DEP because the priority they put on II work in the administrative consent order was based off of a report that was submitted to them in 2017. Since then, we've done a lot of camera work of our actual pipes, and we've discovered that the II work, isn't as bad as it was estimated. So DEP's administrative consent order wants to force us to dictate our capital plan on the II work. We're going back to them to say, because of this additional investigatory work, we don't think it needs to dictate the schedule, but we do think that we can take care of the II stuff we've discovered as we follow our own capital plan based on paving, sidewalks, water work, National Grid gas work, and any stormwater work. So we got a little convincing to do with DEP, but we feel pretty confident in what we're doing. So that's the next step, really, is to get the okay from them, and then we get started on the Ward Road pump station project and do a little II as we're doing these other projects.
Awesome. So a question for the committee, and we don't have to answer it now. We're in a bit of a new ground here, where historically it's always been a year-to-year approve and pay as you go approach for sewers, where now we've approved a large amount that should carry us for multiple years. What kind of report back to the town should the finance committee do, if anything? So, you know, think about how and if we want to do that. That question makes sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I think maybe we should pick a point in time where, you know, one project's complete, we're starting on the next one, and then kind of close the books informally and say, okay, this is where we are, and, you know,
Yeah.
use that to inform the town.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And somehow we need to weave it into the book, because, you know, historically, all of our commentary has been framed in terms of either the budget or a warrant article. And in this case, we have neither.
I don't know if this
Would it be
helps or not.
as simple as going to a selectmen's meeting? And, you know, as a committee reporting, we used to do it on the Coast Guard Housing Committee.
That could work, yeah.
For the FinCom book, for the upcoming town meeting and future town meetings, because this is, like you said, sets us up for the next 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is I think about it in terms of the debt shift, because that's how it's going to hit residents in that sense. So if we provide some sort of report as to the schedule of the projects compared to how that debt shift is going to impact them, I think might be the way to do it.
Yeah, that could work. Anyway,
I think that's what they care about.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's
Well,
what they care about. And
I think
that's
that-
another reason why.
I mean, to be fair, they also probably just want to know what's going on. That's the transparency
Right.
part. So it's not, I mean, it's certainly the money is important, but just kind of what the status that we've talked about it for years and years.
Yeah.
And I think they also
Yeah.
want to
So even
know,
though it's not a, sorry.
It's
yeah,
the
they
only time-
also they want to know, it's great that sounds like we're under budget, but that it's moving along well. We don't see any problems, and the budgeted amount looks, you know, I don't know if we can say, but I mean that it's moving along. Actually, can we say under budget?
No, I would say on budget.
I would
On
say on
budget,
budget.
okay. But that we should say that. I think, you're right, thank you. But I think people would like to hear that it's moving along, we're on budget, and we're moving to the next phase, something like that.
Yeah, I think if you did a selectmen's meeting and did at the end of the sewer project, and you know, kind of like what you just said, Tony, we're at the end of the sewer project, and then at some point we're going to be beginning the next project, and then when we get to town meeting in the book, we can do a recap of, you know, maybe bullet points, you know, completed, you know, Linway sewer project, you know, total cost, you know, and then, you know, started, you know, Ward Road Pump House project on this date, estimated costs, you know, this is what we spent to date, whatever. I mean, it doesn't, I don't think we have to complicate it. I think, you know, we just put it out there in the book.
No, I'd agree. I'd also like to offer up to the committee the idea of, you know, periodic updates to the town, either through our meeting or in using, you know, the numbers at some logical stopping point so people can understand it. And
Yeah.
from a
Yeah.
numerical standpoint as well.
Yeah, you could even start off by, at last year's town meeting, we voted to approve $12 million. We had $9 million. So far, we spent $9 million, completed the sewer project on the
Yep.
Linway, and work that way.
Yep. So I don't mean to cut this off, but we don't need to solve it now.
Yeah.
It does sound like there's a consensus in the committee that we ought to report back in some fashion. So, let's put that on our agenda to figure out what and how and who that is. And unless there's further questions or comments, let's let Tony move on to the next one, which was Coast Guard housing.
Coast Guard housing. So as you know, town meeting voted to authorize the selectmen to sell the property in a certain way and said to give the residents a 1-year notice. So we did that in September of 21, and they were told, to be out of the homes by September 1 of 22. 5 of the homes are vacant currently. The other 7 that have people in them, I've had conversations with every single person there. Very difficult conversations, to be frank. I know everyone that's there on a personal level. And they've all, been trying to find, new housing, but obviously it's extremely difficult, for anyone right now. So they were told they had to be out by September 1. Then they got another letter on September 1 saying, basically initiating the eviction process. Town council is assisting us with that. So they got a letter saying you have 30 days. So October 1 is the next target date. As far as everything else with that, it's the subdivision plan has been approved by the planning board. It was provided to the selectmen. The selectmen shared that with the selectmen sent it to the Town and Land Study Committee. So the next step is for the Town and Land Study Committee to provide some sort of recommendation as far as the value of the properties to the selectmen. And then we haven't done an RFP for demolition or hazardous material removal because the homes are not all the homes are vacant yet, right? So we want to kind of complete that part of the project all at once. So as we work through the eviction process, we'll kind of start to gain momentum on that RFP process. Yeah, that's pretty much the update on that.
Thank you, Tony.
Judy, you were breaking up a little bit, so I didn't understand a word of what you just said.
All I said was, thank you, Tony.
Oh, now we understood. Okay, any other questions on?
Tony, do we anticipate a kind of a timeline as far as an RFP for demolition? I mean, I know we still have the eviction process, but can we put into process the demolition part just so that we're, as we get closer to the winter months, it gets more and more difficult to perform construction and demolition and, leveling of land.
So I've just initiated, just very, very first step, initiate the process of speaking with engineers that we already currently work with about developing some RFP documents. And I'm meeting with Dan Script tomorrow to get an update on the eviction process, which will come with some sort of timeline. And then we'll make a decision based on that. So when you put an RFP out, the folks who bid on that, their price is only good for so many days. So you don't want to jump the gun, so to speak.
Yep.
So I'll know better. I'll know better probably after tomorrow. But I don't know what that timeline would be tonight.
Okay.
Hello?
Yep.
Okay.
So no other questions. Then next on my list was Lowlands.
Lowland. So I had a conversation with Dubois and King just this past week. We had a couple small change orders involved in that contract, but we're still on budget. And the report should be finalized probably next week, or at least the draft next week will be delivered to us. And then the next step after that is a public meeting to talk about those recommendations.
This is
So
the flood.
certainly, go ahead.
This is the flooding of like Wood Road area.
Yeah, so they did. We had a couple of public meetings at the beginning. We had a couple site visits. They did a ton of survey work, and when they did that survey work, they created like a base map that they could run alternative solutions against and determine the recommendations based on, stormwater removal efficiency, cost of those projects, permittability. Those projects include adding an extra pump at Bear Pond, improvement of the ditch system, creating a basin, stormwater removal basin in the Lowlands parking lot area, and the outfall pipe at Castle Road. What's the, value and best solution of some sort of rehab? So they are, so they basically have been running models, introducing those types of projects into the base map and running models. How do those things help improve the removal of stormwater in a flood situation and on a regular day-to-day basis? And then they're running estimates on what those projects would cost, and then what's the permittability of those projects.
Tony, are they giving us like a must-have list and a nice-to-have, or how's that going to work? I mean, I know they're giving us alternative solutions, but what helps us make up our mind?
They're gonna. I think what the idea is to rank those solutions in terms of all three of those categories. Using a cost benefit analysis to understand, maybe there's a cheap solution that we could do right away, but it's not going to provide as much value, as far as stormwater removal goes. Maybe there's a really expensive solution, but it's going to take a while, and it's going to be, is it going to be permittable or not? What that process is like. So there is no, unfortunately, it's not that simple. So they have to kind of rank it amongst all three of those categories.
So Tony, question, how much is available to spend on any potential solution there in the flooding at this point?
I think I believe it was 550,000 that was approved at town meeting
How are the
this past
decisions?
year.
Do we still have that? Is that, how much have we spent so far?
We haven't spent any of that. With the change orders of the study work, I might need like less than 5,000 of that 550 to finish, to pay off Dubois and King. So we're going to have, close to 550, 545.
Oh,
How
okay.
are we going to make the decisions about the prioritization? When and
Who
how?
makes it?
It's hard to say before seeing the draft report.
Yeah, I almost think we don't have
What
enough
they
information
suggest.
yet.
Yeah, we're right there though.
Right.
We're on the goal line, so we're gonna know in the next week or two, and gonna start that process of evaluating those alternatives. And I think a very important part of this is the public meeting, and having a public meeting with the residents in that area, and explain to them the results of the study, and kind of going from there.
Are we going to play a role? I mean, how is that
Who makes,
decision making? Who makes that?
who makes it? Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I think it would be me.
I think so too.
I think it would be me, but certainly it's certainly going to be heavily influenced by the engineers, by the professionals.
So no way. So who makes what? What? Who
I
makes
think the question
decision
is-
as to what alternative is selected?
I think the question is, if all four of those options exceed $550,000,
Exactly.
how are we going to pick? How are we going to pick what to do first?
Well,
And
I mean, I'm assuming
Some
that,
of that-
we
some of that
can
will be
always go back
dictated
for
by
more at town meeting to say, hey, the survey said, or the study says we need 625,000 instead of 550.
Yeah, the article authorizes $550,000 and that's it.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, but you could start some of the projects already in the spring
Sure.
and yeah,
Yeah, we could phase it out,
yeah.
Phase 1, phase 2.
I would, that's what we
Oh, now you're
would
breaking up.
wanna-
Tony.
Oh,
Yeah, you
sorry.
broke up, Tony.
Can you hear me clear
Yes.
now?
Yep.
Yes.
After what we went through with sewer and some experiences with CPC, I would want to go through a procurement process and actually know what that dollar amount is before I go and ask for more money from the town.
Mhm.
And I think some of that timeline will certainly be dictated by the permitting process of any of those projects.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll have more info. We'll certainly have more info in the next week or two. And we'll evaluate those decisions, and I'm sure I'll have an update for you the next time we meet. Can you guys still hear me?
Tony, I think the power just went out.
Yeah, the power just went out.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because town hall is all dark.
Okay.
Yeah, now it's kicking
So
us
who's
all
still
out.
on the?
It's just
kicking
you
us
and
out.
me
Okay.
and Michelle Capano.
Hello, Michelle.
hey, Tony, how's it going?
Light some candles.
I'm just sitting in my office trying to get some work. So whatever is left on the laptop for battery is about what I'm going to get done tonight.
Well, I guess they said if the power went out, we'd postpone. So
Yeah, but it's late. They said, what, 6 o'clock, and now it's after 7. So people won't be happy
classic
either way.
National Grid.
Looks like
know.
Judy got back on.
I'm back, but I'm in the dark.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. Well, we got
Yeah,
half
people
of
might
them.
be able to call. people might be able to call in. I'll stay on for a little bit more.
Well, I'd imagine that
Yeah,
the
and-
people in the, who was, there were two people in the conference room in the, town hall.
Dana and Peter.
Yeah. How much more was there on his list than, Tony?
He, after Lowlands, I think you wanted to hear about inflation and borrowing rates, which Allison was going to give that update. And there was a couple other items on there too.
You wanted to talk about COVID, coyotes, and short-term rental.
The Northeastern, right? Or was that not the conversation?
Yeah, he
Oh,
did
I
have,
guess not.
he did have Northeastern on his agenda that he sent me. But I think I had wrote back to him, I'd prefer to defer to the Board of Selectmen on that.
Okay. Well,
I have a text from National Grid that says 30 minutes.
Oh, really?
that's not too bad. Although,
But
it would have been easier, it
I
would have been
actually-
better if they did that at 6 o'clock, like they said, so we wouldn't have been in the dark, but okay.
Yeah, that would have been prudent.
So much
Tony, can I
easier.
quote you on that 30-minute time?
Well, it says, the text says,
Yeah.
sorry, just got the call, 30 minutes. And I don't know if that means power's going out in 30 minutes or power is only going to be out for 30 minutes. So
Joys.
certainly it happened much sooner, so.
Well, the good news is our
It was-
next meeting will be short because you went through half the agenda.
Yeah. Yeah. Glass half full.
Ever hopeful.
There was a wedding down at Ocean View tonight. And
Oh.
I called Mike Gallant over there and gave him a heads up.
They don't have a generator over there?
No, I guess they had some issues with their generator. So because I called him, he got one set up.
Oh, wow.
What a beautiful day for a wedding. It was
Yeah.
gorgeous today.
It was really nice out. It's kind of odd, a
be
Thursday
long.
wedding, but
I imagine that that's an expense thing. It's probably much less expensive.
Mhm.
I think that's still a product of COVID, because of all the weddings that got pushed back.
Well, even I
It took
said,
up all the schedule.
yeah, a few times that I have like ridden my bike on Saturday by there were weddings going on at like 10 o'clock in the morning. So I think they've doubled up on weddings. Like they probably have a morning wedding and then an afternoon one during all those summer months.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to just call this one closed?
Well, you're the only committee member left on the call. I think it's your call.
All right, well, then it's unanimous. Meeting adjourned.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes, yeah, exactly. We have to adjourn. We don't have a quorum anymore.
Okay. I see that we have iPhone, so nothing. It's still unanimous, so that's good. All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
So I will reschedule and we'll pick this up when we have electricity.
Perfect. All right.
We're
Take
still
care,
in a
everybody. Be
lot
well.
better situation than the folks down in Florida.
Much better.
Yeah.
Lots to be grateful
Okay.
for, guys. All right. Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye now. Bye.
Thanks all. Bye.
Bye.